Did you know that there are 16 verb tenses in French? In this video, I explain why knowing just one will allow you to express yourself in the present, past, and future tenses. If you're trying to learn French on your own, French conjugation can be overwhelming. So focus on the only French verb tense you need to know as a beginner, the present tense, le présent de l'indicatif. Once you know it, you can conjugate verbs in the compound past, le passé composé. As for that, you just need the auxiliary être or avoir conjugated in the present tense, followed by the past participle of the verb you want to conjugate. For example, the past participle of prendre is pris. For aller, it's aller. The past participle is the same for all persons when used with avoir. As a beginner, think of the past participle as invariable when used with avoir. J'ai pris, tu as pris, il a pris, elle a pris, on a pris. Native speakers use on instead of nous when talking. Nous avons pris, vous avez pris, ils ont pris, elles ont pris. For example, j'ai pris une douche. Ils ont pris une douche. With être, the past participle agrees in gender and number with the subject. So you add I to the past participle if the subject is feminine and S if the subject is plural. And that doesn't necessarily change the pronunciation. If the past participle ends in a vowel, adding I, S or IS don't affect the pronunciation. Je suis allé, tu es allé, il est allé, elle est allée, on est allé, nous sommes allés, vous êtes allés, ils sont allés, elles sont allées. For example, je suis allé à la pharmacie. Elles sont allées à la pharmacie. If the past participle ends in a consonant, adding I or IS make the final consonant pronounce. Je suis mort, je suis morte. Tu es mort, tu es morte. Il est mort, elle est morte. On est mort, on est morte. Nous sommes morts, nous sommes mortes. Vous êtes mort, vous êtes morte. Ils sont morts, elles sont mortes. For example, je suis morte de fatigue. Ils sont morts de fatigue. Most verbs are conjugated with avoir, and most of those conjugated with être have their past participle end in a vowel. Therefore, as a beginner, remember that the pronunciation of the past participle is almost always the same for all persons. By knowing the present tense, you are able to conjugate verbs in the imperfect tense, l'imparfait. The imperfect tense is formed from the nous of the present tense. Simply replace ONS from the conjugated verbs with these endings. Est, ion, est. Even if those have different spellings, they have the same pronunciation, est, as these letters are silent. For example, the verb avoir, to have, conjugated in the present tense. Nous avons. And now in the imperfect tense. J'avais, tu avais, il avait, elle avait, on avait, nous avions, vous aviez, ils avaient, elles avaient. For example, j'avais 25 ans. Il avait 25 ans. All French verbs are regular in the imperfect tense. They all follow that conjugation pattern. All but one. The verb être, to be, is irregular. It is considered irregular because it's not formed from the present form of nous, nous sommes, but it still uses the same imperfect endings as other verbs. J'étais, tu étais, il était, elle était, on était, nous étions, vous étiez, ils étaient, elles étaient. For example, j'étais jeune à l'époque. Vous étiez jeune à l'époque. The imperfect tense is used to talk about past habits or repeated actions in the past, while the compound past is used to talk about a one-off past action that has a specific duration in the past. Hier, je me suis couché à 22 heures. J'allais souvent au cinéma. And by knowing the present tense, you will be able to conjugate verbs in the future tense. When talking, native French speakers mostly use the near future tense, le futur proche. And to conjugate verbs in this tense, simply conjugate the verb aller, to go, in the present tense, followed by the infinitive of the verb you want to conjugate. The infinitive is the neutral, non-conjugated form of the verb. For example, the verb manger, to eat, conjugated in the near future tense. Je vais manger, tu vas manger, il va manger, elle va manger, on va manger, nous allons manger, vous allez manger, ils vont manger, elles vont manger. Ce soir, je vais manger des pâtes. Ce soir, on va manger des pâtes. The present tense, le présent de l'indicatif, really is the only verb tense you need to know as a beginner, as it allows you to express yourself in the present, past, and future tenses. Learn how to conjugate regular verbs in the present tense and some French conjugation rules in this video. And be sure to like this video and to subscribe to my channel. À la semaine prochaine!